Take the journey into the unknown with SNX Radio as we delve into the enigmatic world of UFO sightings and extraterrestrial abductions. Join us for conversations with leading experts and individuals who have encountered these otherworldly beings, uncovering secrets about their experiences, contact stories, and the profound implications for humanity. Listen as we reveal the incredible narratives of those who have undergone alien abductions, shedding light on the psychological and spiritual impacts of these encounters. Explore the depths of consciousness and spirituality as we discuss how these experiences may connect us to something greater beyond our understanding.
Together we explore it, night after night. So cool.
In the sky, flashing bright tonight. Coley UFO taking flight out of sight. From the stars above, beaming down that glow. Alien party, everybody know. Heart beating fast, feel the energy rise. Hands in the air, reach up to the sky. No gravity.
Why they black out the frame when the craft appear? Why they edit every tape, every trace, every tear? Crew in the booth, we connect each dot. Coley on the mic, hit record, run it hot.
Male and female, back-to-back tag team flow. From the fields, from the ships, from the old windows. Abduction marks, bright scars they can't explain. Same dream, same face, same luminous name. Whistleblower drop codes in the chat at night. Coordinate states, what they keep out of sight. SNX dialed in, we decode each line. Turn the volume to the truth, let it cut through the lies. Truth beyond disclosure, take the journey into the unknown.
Together we explore it, night after night. Let's go! Truth drive, disclosure, non-stop. SNX crew, lead the way. Different views, here to stay. James Gilliland orbs, peaceful contact shine. East City skies where the UFOs align. Daryl W. Sims, implants cross the line. Alien hunter evidence, truth redefined. Stephen Love Ray, phenomenal connections burning bright. Seth Breedlove, small town monsters, legends ignite. David Spinks, energy, holding deep. Vibrations rising, awakening from sleep. Truth drive.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SNX Radio. I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO, and tonight we definitely have a very cool guest that most of you already know. And you know what? Since most of you already know who he is, why don't I bring him out even before I go into chat and he can say hello with, because I know I love seeing the same community. And for those of you who do not know, Bigfoot Dwarf, you're about to meet him. So yeah, welcome to the stage. And I usually would give you a big, but people who have their own shows, I feel like they're way better at this. And I feel like the chat, they know you too. So yeah, I just whipped you on out here probably before you're ready, but welcome. You can't hear? Oh, I'm showing I can hear. You can't. No? You can't hear me? Uh-oh.
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I can't hear you.
You can't hear? Oh no.
Yeah. I could let you know as soon as I do, but yeah, I can't. I have no audio over here. I did during your intro and everything.
Oh, that's weird. Do you want to go? Do you want to jump out and then come back in? I don't know how I'm gonna type this to you. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'm gonna get to the. Oh yeah, okay, so they can hear me. Okay, so and they can hear you too. Yeah, you just can't hear me, right?
Do you want me to jump back out and jump back in? All right.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, at least it's not me. I'm not the problem child, but I'm going to start to go through chat and say hello. Oh, Diane, that's so nice. I was all the way at the top. I love this. Absolutely love this. So we'll just wait for him to get back in. We all know if you've been on StreamYard, you definitely know how this works. But hey, Andrew, it's good to see you in here. Pop, Scary Spikes, if you do not know. Second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will be having the cryptid panel. So that's pretty exciting. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I could. Loud and clear. What's up, everyone? Yeah.
Okay, good.
I love that we're learning how to troubleshoot and stuff when we're live, and yeah, way to go.
I have had some of, I don't know, I could do a whole blooper segment. It's been that bad at times.
You could add me to that for sure. How you doing?
It'll be fun. Good. And I was going to say too, for those who do not know you, which I'd be surprised if there's many, why don't you tell people who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I go by Bigfoot Dwarf online. Glenn is my first name, and I originally from Southern California, Los Angeles, Hollywood, California. Grew up out here. We were just talking backstage. You have some history here, which is very interesting. So it's super cool to know that, and ended up moving to Northern California at some point in my life. And that's when I got the Bigfoot bug. But before that, it was, growing up here in LA, Hollywood, of course, we were exposed to a lot of mainstream stuff and a lot of it, movies, of course, music, and you name it. UFOs, the paranormal was something that my brother and I were definitely into, and luckily I have them here. So we're at our shop. We have a smoke shop, skate shop, and more. And this is where the studio's set up. So we're about to close here soon. Also 7:00, and my brother's helping wrapping things up. So I got a little backup for now. But yeah, no, growing up out here, we were always into the strange and bizarre stuff. And I was mentioning like checking out unsolved mysteries and stuff, and different shows like that. I remember like sightings. There were some really good shows back in the day that would show like real footage or footage of UFOs. Some of them real, some of them not. And we'd hang out with Pops sometimes, check those shows out, and so it was always on our minds. And just a lot of weird stuff growing up out here too. We experienced a lot of strange stuff, psyopses and all, you name it. But yeah, I was always passionate, but then moving up north, moved to the redwoods, moved to Humboldt County, California, and yeah, it was just a life changing moment for me, going from the city to yeah the hills of Northern California, and yeah, just learned the ropes up there. I actually moved in with a guy who had a piece of property in southern Humboldt County, up in the mountains. We call them they're hills, but people out here would call them mountains. Um, and it was just, yeah, it was awesome living off grid, learning how to live that lifestyle, and I just fell in love with it, and ended up living up there over 10 years. Ended up moving out of that place, and actually, the guy that I moved in with was, real hippie, from back in the day, and he just was out there, and he's very much in touch with his Irish side of things. And so, yeah, he had like books on fairies and stuff like that. The house he lived in actually looked like a gnome house. That's what everyone would call it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a trippy place, and had some weird experiences there. And that's when I really started getting into Bigfoot. My brother was, of course, living down here, was sending me stuff. I eventually got online and was checking out some of the stuff going on online. And of course, locally, I was poking around and asking people about things, and you would hear stories here and there. And and then yeah, I started seeing what people were doing and finding online and experiencing, and I was like, this is interesting. And after a while, things started kind of happening on the property there, and just little things. I would notice we did get wildlife, bears and skunks and raccoons, all your average stuff. But yeah, bears and mountain lions sometimes. Uh, and then, but there was things that would happen, and there was ranchers nearby also. So every once in a while, you get cows and stuff like that. And then now I'm talking about a different property. So I ended up moving out of that place, stayed there for a few years. That was like my introduction to the county and the area, which was great. And ended up getting a place with a partner. And there it wasn't far from this actual location. It was a different hill. And yeah, there things started like happening around there, little noises and things that I was noticing. And that's when I first started learning about stick structures and stuff like that. So I would go around the property and look for stuff, and there were some interesting finds actually. And it was like a who knows. And so up on the hill, you had like a small little town store nearby, which we are lucky for that. And then down the hill was like town, and a small town, Garberville, Redway. Um, and there, you could get, groceries, post office and stuff like that. And but down there was the redwood parks. So that's Highway 101. And along
Oh.
Highway 101, if you go north of there, there's different redwood groves. And along those areas, I started searching because I did find that there was like reports. Even back then, I would go online and search for reports in the area locally and stuff like that. And eventually found some books that were written into the area, and then started learning about certain people from the area as well, and then others that would come into the area, because this area was actually known for the Patterson Gimlin film, where this Bigfoot appears walking across a creek bed. And right now, if for those that aren't into Bigfoot, it's a big topic right now, and it comes in waves. The Patterson Gimlin film in the Bigfoot arena, but as of late, because there's a documentary that's been, I guess it was shown at a film festival, and so it's not out to the public yet. But supposedly that they got filmed there that shows that it was all a hoax. And it's always been up in the air, but it's been held as like the best Bigfoot footage out there, and it's crazy to see what's been going on there. Just like in the UFO world, there's a whole lot of drama,
Oh
enough for
yeah.
yeah, enough for everybody. And so I'm familiar with some of that stuff, and that some same drama happens in the Bigfoot arena as well. And so you got to be careful.
You mean
And so
not
yeah,
everybody comes on and tells the truth? I mean, that's it's just unbelievable when you get into it. I'm like, man, it drives me crazy. Drives me
yeah,
crazy.
so it happens in that world also. And but yeah, learning that film was taken not too far from, I mean, I was living in the southern part of the county, and I lived throughout the years in different areas, and at one point I was pretty close, uh maybe about an hour, no, more than an hour. But one time, actually, Willow Creek, I don't know if you've ever heard of the town, but I was staying there for a bit, and that's pretty close to the Bluff Creek area where the film was taken. But what's interesting, even besides the film, even if it is a hoax, if it comes out to be a hoax, I'm up in the air about it. I don't know. And there's throughout the years, there's always been debate, and there's camps like the believers, the non-believers, in-betweeners, and
Isn't it crazy? It tears everything into two. It does by design. I swear.
yeah,
It's crazy.
it's a trip. And when you get into the backstory behind it too, there's like, eh, possible shady characters, shady dealings, and it gets hairy, it gets weird. Boom, bless up, brother. My brother's heading out here. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, thank bro for everything. And yeah, so that's been a big thing as of late. And so yeah, I've been diving into some of the happenings because I'm curious. I want to know, and it's Bigfoot, news coming from our area. And right now, you hear Bigfoot stuff happening all over the place. Actually, 2026, Ohio. I don't know if you heard about the flap. They call it a flap. I guess I was calling it a rash, or what was it, a streak? But of sightings, of reported sightings, actually. And it kind of happened in within a several days span. And it was interesting to see the reports. Now, are the reports true and stuff? Who knows? That's another who knows. I didn't see too much evidence as far as like video or any pictures or anything like that. But I thought it
Oh,
was interesting, and there's people out there following up on that, so I'm interested to hear what's going on. And the same thing kind of happened towards Ontario. So there's these websites that we look up reports, and one of them being the BFRO. I'm sure many people are familiar with that one. That's like the biggest one out there. And there's another one called the Bigfoot Mapping Project. And so it's been pretty cool checking out those reports there. We've been, doing the live streams and all that. And so, yeah, even again, way back, I was into digging up reports and stuff. I just didn't know I wasn't, doing the live streams and everything. But I was always curious what was going on in neighboring counties and different states and stuff like that. And I still have it in me to look into this stuff and hopefully find out more, hopefully make some connections. And there have been some interesting connections with some of these reports like that. So yeah, I'm going to continue doing that. And yeah, so Northern California, a lot of Bigfoot business as well. A lot of businesses use it as their logo. You'll see all sorts of Bigfoot related stuff, man. It's funny, and it's pretty cool too. There's also a Bigfoot festival up that way in Willow Creek, and yeah, so I really immersed myself with and I wouldn't even say we have a Bigfoot community up there. They say Bigfoots are the locals up there. Um, but yeah, started finding out of some of the places where there's been activity, and then again finding out about Bluff Creek. And I forget how that goes, but I got invited and I ended up going. And I took my son for the first time, and we went, checked it out, and found out where the film site was. And there's the Bluff Creek Project. So there's a group of guys up there, and shout out to them. They did a lot of work on pinpointing where Patty, the Bigfoot in the film, was, and just very knowledgeable about the area. And so every year I would go after that. And that's been like, oh man, I want to say like maybe 8 years, maybe 9, that I've maybe missing a year or two here. But it's been like, I think that long since the first time. And so it's kind of like this ritual we do to go to Bluff Creek, right? And of course we don't think that we're gonna see Patty. You never know, but there's just been a lot of history from that area, even before the whole Patty filming. That area is known to three tribes, three Native American tribes in
oh
California,
yeah.
which is the Hoopa, the Karuk, and the Yurok tribes. And in their legends and tales and stuff like that, of course, there's Bigfoot uh, stories and and things that have happened there. You know, a lot of history, and some of the history has been actually shared lately. And I've been listening to some of it. Very interesting. There's been talks about, I mean, some weird stuff, even as far as like, you know, Bigfoot taking people and things like that, you know, some really strange stuff. And, you know, I tend to believe some of these tribes. You know, I think there's something to Bigfoot and the natives, of course. You know, all tribes, it seems like, have a name for them, or at least most of them. And so, yeah, when I go up that way, you know, and I do talk to some of the native elders there. I shout out Inker. Yeah, you know, I listen, and it's more than Bigfoot, you know, and little people come up, and but you know, most people just go there for Bigfoot, of course. And yeah, so I feel there's still stuff happening. There's stuff that has happened over the years. People have had like sightings and experiences in that Bluff Creek area. But according to like the BFRO, and the website's been in some hot water, you know, lately, and you know, people have questioned, even some of the investigators who have worked, I guess, for the site and stuff, or for the organization, have talked out, and you know, supposedly that some say that they edit reports, that they kind of leave out some of the high strange stuff, and I don't know. What I have learned is that the organization does have what they call, I guess, what was it? That's I think it was. Why am I thinking flaps? But it's it was this word, and it'll come to me, but it's like the reports that aren't released to the public, which is very
Oh, okay,
interesting.
sure.
Yeah. So if you go to the website, those are reports that they've released to the public. So they got a whole bunch of other reports that have not been released. And I guess if you're part of the organization,
You can
then I
get
guess
to
you have
them.
access and stuff. Yeah. So just a heads up there. And if you submit a report, you know, they might not put it straight out there. So something to think about. But yeah,
You see some of the
BFRO.
same stuff with MUFON too. It's like either that or the information's being leaked to the back door to the government when people, because it's like, I don't know what it's like necessarily with the Bigfoot, but UFOs, it's like they don't necessarily follow the phenomenon, they follow the people. That's what we were
Right.
always told. So I can
Yeah.
imagine it's probably similar to your
Yeah.
as
And,
well.
and yes, and maybe not to the degree, but who knows? But
Don't
I would
know.
imagine, also because there is a possible connection between UFOs and Bigfoot. I'll say it, you know, and a lot of people in the Bigfoot field, even people that I know and stuff, they won't go there with it, you know. But you hear
Oh, I think
people,
there definitely is.
yeah,
Definitely.
people talk about you know, experiencing that stuff, and I'll bring some stuff up here in a minute. But yeah, going back to the BFRO, according to the BFRO and what they've released to the public, Humboldt County for California has the by far the most reports in any other county in Cali. So that's interesting also. I was like, oh man, here I am in like Bigfoot heaven for California.
And
And
you found it. Yeah.
yeah,
There you
I kind of
are.
fell into it, right? And so yeah, I started paying attention to a lot more stuff, you know, just getting as much knowledge as I could. And I would go out, so outside of our place, we were on 40 acres, you know, heavily wooded, hills, very private. And things started happening, like I mentioned earlier. I would notice, like, you know, knocks here and there. It wouldn't happen all the time, but throughout my stay there over years, things had happened, you know. So I experienced some wood knocks, some strange vocalizations. I did mention there was like cows and of course wildlife, and they even cows make some weird sounds. So I was able to learn that stuff, and some of the stuff that I heard, you know, wasn't. I don't think it was those normal things. And so yeah, I learned about, you know, getting a gadget, you know, audio recorders. There's different little things that I was able to get throughout that time, like a thermal camera. I was able to get a little FLIR. I actually got a couple of them. So I started getting whatever I
Oh,
could
very cool.
afford, and just learning about cameras and stuff, and got myself a Canon, but you know, I just didn't know what I was doing with it. I didn't know how to use them. I still don't really even know how to use them. Eventually, I defaulted to my cell phone, which, you know, a lot of people were just like, yeah, just use your cell phone for stuff. You know, it's easy, quick, and the quality these days is not too bad either. But I would
Right.
still like to learn how to use a good camera. But Yeah, so that was interesting. So I started finding stuff along the groves, the redwood groves, also that I would frequent a whole lot. Any chance I would get, I was in those woods looking for stuff. And yes, the stick structure phenomenon started happening to me. So and it's very weird how it happened because and I think there's something to it. You know, some people will also poo-poo that whole thing, like, yeah, you know, because there's no proof of Bigfoot building these things, but it's weird, almost like magical how you find these things. They like pop up and it's like you're searching in the woods for stuff and you start finding these things. And some of us get really good at it. I mean, and we, you know, I've
I've
developed.
come across some. I'm curious as to what yours look like.
Okay.
They were very. I mean, it was weird. And I asked somebody, I'm like, "How can you tell?" And they're like, "Well, usually Bigfoot, they're not obviously like clean cut. They're snapped." And
Yeah.
I was looking at them, but yeah, I've seen that in the trees, and so, but I don't know. Like I have not gotten where I could say like I got a close up, and that's who exactly, you know. But that's
Right.
yeah, it was very interesting.
And that's where I'm at with the phase. And you go through different, I go through the different phases, you know, it depends. You know, I'm always changing my feelings about things and questioning things. Um yeah, because there's no proof of them building them, but I could see how there's something, you know, maybe there with them if they are uh you know, paranormal, if there is something paranormal to them, because that's I don't doubt that either, that they're possibly, you know, a paranormal aspect to them. I don't knock that at all. And like I said, finding these structures, it's the weirdest thing sometimes how they pop up. And you know, I know there's a thing also with the mind where people are like, oh yeah, you start finding what you're looking for. Like, you know, you just kind of like get it in your mind, and all of a sudden you start seeing whatever it is all over the place, right? And but it's interesting to have these little creations and stuff. And you know, I believe some of it is done by kids and people and whatever, so it's all questionable. But I you know, I question how I find it. Sometimes there's been times where I feel like I've been guided to them. And I've developed little locations where they happen frequently too, and it's in like these interesting areas. And not too far from these areas there's reports, you know, online reports and firsthand reports that I've heard from people. And so I think there's definitely something going on in Humboldt County. And and so yeah, that's why I love it there. I you know, anytime any chance I get, I you know, go back and I try to make it a yearly thing now that I'm here in Southern California. But yeah, man, just it's amazing up that way. Have you been up north?
Yeah, we went down to, I mean, and I've driven to San Francisco, gone through that route, but not anywhere like really outside of that. Because I flew into, God, I'm trying to remember what airport I flew into, outside of San Francisco area. But yeah,
Okay.
it was beautiful. And I was surprised I always thought it was going to be so, I don't know, I'm getting some feedback, sorry. I thought it was gonna be so hot every which direction you went in California, but it was really nice when Northern
Hmm.
California had the breeze, and I was like, "Oh, wow, this is
Oh
great."
yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is like when I question myself is like why is it that they're so active, or so many reports out of that part of California, and people have brought up the precipitation, because even if you look at the sightings map, people have done different maps, and most of them for Humboldt seem to be in the northern part of the county, which gets more precipitation. Um, and maybe more towards the coast as well. Seems like more of the reports are, and then the coast, you have the redwood, so you have, you know, plenty of cover, those trees, and I think there's definitely something about trees, and especially those redwood trees. They're just magical, you know. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if little people and fairies do live in them, and
Yeah,
um,
nothing would shock me. Nothing would shock
yeah,
me at this point. I'd have to say that, but
oh
I
yeah,
just don't know how far, unless I've literally witnessed it myself. And sometimes, I feel like outside of not knowing it maybe as well. But when you've come across these stick structures, What I mean, are they? How big are they, or how? I
They
should pull up one, see what you think of, like, because there was some area and it was very odd and it was all around the same area. But I do think that they cross because it was in an area of the UFO stuff, and it is all
mm,
connected to Native American grounds. I big time like when I realized, like in the United States, like, but there's probably burial grounds, is what I mean by that. But,
yeah, some people believe they could be markers for like maybe certain trails, trackways, water, different
oh,
things,
okay.
or keep out. And I don't believe it all. I keep it in mind. I don't know what they are, what they mean. There's so many different types of designs as well. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, I could see how X could maybe mean keep out or something. But
Right.
yeah, who knows really? And what was I going to say also about the structures? Oh yeah, some people have questioned also if maybe they align with certain like constellations possibly. I remember some guys were questioning that, which I thought was pretty interesting. Far out way to think. And then also there's I heard of some natives up in like Vancouver Island talk about like the hut structures are supposedly where they give birth, which I question because some of the huts I found in some places where they were kind of hidden, but yeah, I don't think a Bigfoot would be giving birth right there. I think that something like that, maybe they would be really deep, somewhere in the woods where there's going to be no humans around. So I questioned that, but yeah, we get the teepees, the X's. Um, what else is there? There's yeah, it's kind of hut looking ones. There's also sometimes just a leaner, what we call a leaner, just like a simple stick leaned up on a tree or something. And I found rock stacks before, but Humboldt has a lot of hippies, folks. So they like rock stacking as well. So just a heads up.
Oh,
Uh
I did hear about the rock stacking. I should
yeah,
show
so
you
that's
when you say, I don't know if you can see
yep.
that one or not,
Yeah, I see it.
but it's not, I don't think it wasn't huge by any
Nope.
stretch of your imagination. Is
Yeah.
that kind of, I had a few different ones, but that
And
was kind
so
of one of them I've
and so
seen.
hold up. Oh, you
Oh, I can add it back
it's
on.
it's all good. So check this out. So I've learned to really like examine structures too, and off the bat, I see something that's really interesting, and it could be that okay, the fork is because you see how that one branch is a fork.
Mhm.
I pretty much almost see those forks, and I know that could be used as like what would you call it? Like to balance everything on. You put everything in the middle of the fork or whatever.
Sure.
Um, but sometimes I'll notice the fork and it's not doing that. It's not being used as the base of the
Mm.
structure. It's just added somewhere, kind of, but it's always there. It's like a signature, and that's something I've noticed about structure. So keep an eye out for those forks. And there's a buddy of ours, he calls them tridents, and he's like how would you say, almost I'd say in my book he's the master of X's and structures and stuff. He's out of Colorado, and he gets a lot of negative vibes out his way sometimes, and he has his people as well that support him and everything. But and I won't mention names, but yeah, he's really good at it. And yeah, he's noticed that he calls them tridents. He'll consider that a trident as well. But yeah, there's something about these trident trees. So it's almost like, and he says that Bigfoot makes them. I don't know, but there's this thing, and it's funny because even with plants, certain types of plants, if you cut the top of it, it'll grow three, so you'll get that trident effect. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
you know what I'm saying? And so
Mhm.
these trees that grow with these tridents, he's noticed that there'll be structures in these areas, and then the signature in his area will be a trident. And it doesn't always happen, but a lot of times, more times than none, he's pointed out that and it's weird. It's like, oh yeah, there it is, one of those trees, and it's bizarre. So
Wouldn't have
that's
known
some,
that was a thing. See, I'm glad that I like when people explain all this because you never know, it's like, well, then
right.
from there on out, like, yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a
And
couple of
then
questions.
like the size of this, you'd be like, so why would a big old Bigfoot build that. And then, well, someone would say maybe it was a little one. Some say that sometimes when the little ones are around, are made by the little ones, and maybe they're learning or mimicking their parents or whoever. Yeah, there's been talks about that. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, I do like the structures, and I do feel there's something with that. And so yeah, I definitely look for that when I'm out in the field. And yeah, just getting out. When I was living up that way, I could literally walk out of my house and it was like I'm in the field, which was very cool. And so what I noticed, what started happening, I was paying attention to for activity on the property and stuff, because I thought how convenient if the action comes to you, right? You could just sit out on the deck
Yeah.
and things just start
Right.
happening. See, yep, perfect. Yeah, right there. And I'm very much aware of bushcraft. I found many of these, this style, huge ones, okay, along the beach, along the coast of some of these areas that I'm speaking of, which was interesting. And because at that time I hadn't noticed anyone else find structures on beaches. It was just
That
people
is
were finding them in the woods, and I started finding stuff on the beaches up there. I was like, oh man. And what do you know, I started finding reports of Bigfoots along the beach, on beaches up there too. And I was like, ooh, so they do go to the beach. So yeah, Bigfoot, I think Bigfoot likes the beach, y'all. Surfs up. Yeah, that one's interesting. So that style, I have found huge ones, which could have been people, a bunch of people partying on the beach. Maybe it was a very hidden area. And
Yeah.
then I found the same style structure, Coley, in the woods, but it was the tiniest thing. Okay. And I did document this stuff, and it blew my mind, because I was like, what are the chances of me finding one of these style structures in this area where I was looking for stuff, and it was the tiniest thing. And if I don't know how I even found it, and I could have missed it. And I was like, confirmation there. And in my mind, I'll ask also. I was like, all right, whoever, Lord, please, can you give me something? Can we find something, whatever, stick structure, maybe a track, some tracks or anything, some hair.
Some confirmation of
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
heck, I'll take some scat. and so yeah, and things would happen, not all the time, but a lot of times things would happen. And so I think there's something to that too. So I think, yeah, there's a spiritual side to all this, and I think it's important to tap into that. And no matter what you're doing, not only Bigfooting, I think anything. There's like in the UFO field, what they call the CE5. I like to call it CE420. And I have experienced that. And so really quick, I want to run back to the property. I started experiencing orbs on the property, Coley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they started popping up at usually around dusk, and then pretty much all night. And it started happening when I first started noticing them. I also started learning around that same time about people experiencing orbs and Bigfoot. And I was like, what the heck? And I started experiencing the orbs, and I'm like, here we go, like the next level of like confirmation of stuff going on. And this stuff started happening nightly on that property. And they would pop up at ground level, and they were bright, looked like a blue star on the ground and stuff. And they would get dim, and they would shrink, sometimes disappear. They would turn back on, get really bright, and like power up on the spot right there. And then sometimes they would I seen them take off from ground level into the sky, and vice versa. From the sky, I've seen these what looked like an orb drop into our woods and stuff. And then these same orbs, I've also seen them float through like the trees, like several of them. It was crazy. I seen them orange as well. There was one time, possibly a couple times, where this cluster, I had woken up. It was like 3 a.m, and I look outside, and it's like down the hill. And there were several other properties in the area, but everyone was pretty spread out. And it looked like a fire. And up there, anywhere in Cali, I mean, just anywhere, period, you got to worry about fire, right? But, Cali is known for fire, especially Northern California and our areas there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and so I thought it was a fire. And I was like, oh, my goodness, there's a fire. But I started looking closer, and it looked like a bunch of little, like, little fires around this cluster, and I noticed the cluster's like moving, and it looks like orangey red. And I'm like, hold on here. And it was like, it was a bunch of orbs. It looked like a cluster of just like orbs, a mass of orbs. And they were this fiery orange color and these little sprite ones on the side. And I was tripping out. And that I did get some footage of. So any of the stuff we talk about tonight, most of it, I believe if I have footage of it, I'll send it to you. And anyone interested could drop a comment, yeah, pull that video for us, Dwarf. So I'm all about that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I've
me
learned.
too. No, that's cool. You're like that. That I'm the same way. I'm like, I'll just throw it out there because I want to know. It's like you want to know, but that's
Yes.
awesome.
And so a lot of experiences with these orbs to the point where actually, so we were off grid, but I guess technically not because we had internet service, but we were like on solar and stuff. And so I was able to go live from my phone on YouTube when these orbs would pop up. So there's many of these videos going years back, these live stream videos where, and a lot of it, there's no lights around, so it's all dark, and you just see these little dots of light appear and kind of disappear, and that's what it was. So it wasn't like the best video, but I was capturing what I was seeing and doing the live streams in real time, and it was just, I don't know, I felt like I needed to do that. And I like capturing evidence and stuff, so that's my thing. If you could get this stuff on video, because yeah, you could bring that data back to the crew, and share that, and then you have something to work with, because I feel like right now there's, and I don't mind it, but a lot of storytelling goes on, a lot of, and you wonder, because like we want the truth, right? And it makes you wonder about all these stories you're hearing. There's more Bigfoot reports than ever. A lot of Dogman reports these days. I mean, UFO is off the hook. It's always been off the hook. It seems like the UFO field is like the main subject, and with these things going on. So I see kind of what's happening there, and I see it happening over here as well, like I mentioned. So
You guys
yeah, it
aren't
makes
flooded yet, are you? The UFO, everything's getting flooded right now. I think
yeah.
that's why they do it.
Yeah, and it is over here also. I mean, there's been a lot of issues. What up, Kaiju? Do you think orbs are related to? Yeah, I think there's some sort of connection there for sure, and maybe with other things as well, because people are reporting orbs with like ghosts as well,
Oh
paranormal things.
yeah, the first
Um,
UFO that I saw when it broke off and shot off, it broke off into 7, 8 orbs. I've seen like
oh,
I mean, it seems to be that's where everything either coming or going seems to be an orb. That seems to be
yep,
across the board.
yep,
So
and I'm on board with that. So there's something with the orbs, and even the natives would talk about. I've heard not following them, because there was that curiosity, like, darn it, it's over there. What if I walk over to it, and then, but then at that time I was also learning about the missing 411 phenomenon, which I question a lot these days as well. I do believe there's something going on there, but I do question a lot of the cases that are being put out. And so I like to, dive a little deeper if I can. And there's some people who have been really diving deep in some of those 411 cases and have been pointing out that they're not really that strange. So you got to, got to be careful with the cases. And I don't just like, and when I first
good
found out
for
about the
you.
411 phenomenon, yeah, it captivated me. I was like, oh my goodness, and it still does. And getting into that, the dude, I'll call him DP, who's been putting out the 411 phenomenon, had also put out a documentary relating that phenomenon to UFOs, right? And so I think, like, so is that what it is? Is that, because it seems like the mystery continues, so he dropped something kind of hinting and relating, like, oh, it's this. So, and I very much thought it could be UFOs as well, but I think it's a mixture of things maybe causing all of these strange disappearances and deaths and stuff like that. And that's been a hot topic lately, as of late, with all the scientists and everything
Oh yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
and we could get into a little of that if you'd like too, because I find it fascinating. And
Do you
some of
know
that
what I
stuff.
think is strange
Uh-huh.
though? And I understand it, but I know the UFO inside and out, and I did not recognize one of their names, but I think they all were dealing with energy and propulsion, correct? Like,
Somehow, I guess, yeah, which is pretty trippy. And you were mentioning you lived out here before, so Pasadena,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so there's NASA, JPL, what is it, Caltech, and all that right there along the foothills and stuff. And three of the people that are on that list of the missing and deceased work there and stuff. And so they're
Oh.
from this area. And two of them were featured on the as a missing 411 case. And it's interesting because one of them is a lady who I forget, she had something to do with some sort of, I believe it was a metal or some sort of substance that they were going to use or they're using for like propulsion and stuff like that, maybe space travel or something like that. And she was an avid hiker out here in these mountains, and she was hiking with some friends, and all of a sudden she disappeared. They said she was about maybe 30 feet behind the group or something like that, and all they found was her hat. And I guess now it was her case has been I guess sent to the homicide bureau. So I guess they were saying they're considering it a homicide, but yet she's still considered missing. It's weird. And so she's the one who was actually connected to the Air Force general that is now missing. So they work together. And what was interesting about the area she went missing at is it's called Mount Waterman. And that area of Mount Waterman, speaking of the 411 phenomenon, there's a trail nearby there that's called Devil's Canyon.
Oh
And
boy.
yeah, and in the 411 phenomenon, they talk about he wrote a series called The Devil's in the Details. So these different places that have the name Devil, Diablo, or some sort of like satanic sounding I guess connotation to it. There's usually high strangeness and weird stuff happening there, which I do feel there's something to it. It's like why name this place that, right?
Yeah.
Um
And why is there
and
so much meaning in words if it's not played upon? With the shadow of a doubt, I think that they do
uh,
play in words for sure.
so there's other cases, a bunch of other missing cases around that particular area. And actually not far from that Devil's Canyon also is this campground called Chilau. And I actually had taken my nephews up that way camping. It was I think maybe going on a little over a year ago now, because I had found this online Bigfoot report and I wanted to go camping. And I'm like, well, we're in SoCal. We don't get many Bigfoot reports. It's not like Northern California, but there is some activity out here. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to this campground because I had found a report from 1995. This guy was with a girlfriend and late night, and they had gone to use, I guess, some restrooms or something like that, and then noticed this dark silhouette moving through the trees. And so whatever, we camp out at the campground. I brought my gadgets, my thermals and stuff, and just showed my nephews how to use that stuff.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
and
So
yeah,
now
yeah,
you're
yeah.
in I feel like Big Bear or that area, do they get any action or
Yeah, yeah. Big Bear's got Bigfoot reports, and interestingly, so nearby, uh, what is it, JPL, NASA, and those facilities, not far away is this. It's called the Cobb Estate, also known as Haunted Forest, and that's up Lake Street in Pasadena / Altadena, and that's where we had one of the recent big fires as well. Um, yeah, and then those mountains have a lot of weird history, even uh, with just different things. And what was I going to mention? So there's a Bigfoot report near or very near that Cobb Estate, that haunted forest, which isn't far from NASA, JPL, and all that. I just thought that was interesting.
that is
Yeah, yeah, it
interesting.
was a pretty
Huh.
cool one too. It's supposedly the Bigfoot wave that this hiker was like, "Hello" or something like that. It was cool. It wasn't like a terrifying one. And so that was pretty interesting, I thought. Anyway, so going back to so that campground, we camp out there, and we end up coming back with a piece of thermal footage, which was very interesting because my nephew had took the clip, and I was going through the footage when we got back, and I'm making a long story short here. And there's this humanoid figure at the base of a tree, and when my nephew spots it, my nephew didn't know, but this is, I guess, a no-no in Bigfooting. If you have a Bigfoot on camera or on thermal or anything, do not point at the subject, because it's like, subject's gonna know, hey, they spotted me, right? So
Yeah.
but he did that, and when he did that, this subject, and it was down low at the base of the tree, tends to like turn and like cover its face, and it was the weirdest thing, and it ducked, and it's right, it's pretty clear, you could tell it's like a humanoid. We don't think it's any other wildlife, although he did capture some other wildlife up that way from that night. I think it was some coyotes and some deer. But we did a follow-up the following week, but completely failed on the spot where the subject was, and we haven't gone back since. Now, I did a long version of video. I'm learning to do these longer version type videos and getting more in depth with what's going on and stuff, because my old videos are just little phone short clips of stuff. And so yeah, just learning the video thing and putting stuff together, editing and all that. I'm like, geez, we got to learn all this stuff to be able to
I know.
yeah,
Oh, God, I can't
to
do
have a
it.
show and everything. So learning the live streaming stuff as well, right? But it's all good. So yeah, I thought that was the weirdest thing. I shared it with some of my friends, and one of them thought, because he's logical thinker, and he was like, dude, it looks like maybe someone cowboy camping, and getting into a sleeping bag, which it does. I was like, oh yeah, dude, it does look like that. But we don't think it was a person, because that night it was so cold. That night there wasn't snow. And I forgot to tell you, rewind really quick. Before we got in the campground, there was an accident at the entrance of the campground. There was CHP, California Highway Patrol, there blocking the road. This car nearly went over the mountain. They cleaned that up really quick. Yeah, the cop comes over to us and he's like, hey, what are you guys doing up here? I'm like, we're going to go camping right over here. And he's like, all right, well, you guys be safe, because there's been some recent cult unalivings up here. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
That's interesting with the
Yeah.
call. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I've recently actually heard an interview with a lady who actually lived, I think she lived in like Huntington Beach in the OC or something, but she was working up in the Angeles National Forest. And she was mentioning some strange stuff. And she also mentioned a lot of cleanup of like these shrines and different like altars and stuff like that from, yeah. And I could see that. So, and we're hearing more about what's going on in Hollywood, so yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't surprise me.
yes. Oh, yes. No, and I even said, like, even with UFO stuff, a lot of the cattle mutilation is the cult. That cult is deeply rooted. People don't understand.
Yeah.
Not something out of the movies. It is real. It really is.
Yep.
They're
And
at conferences, and people just, it's like they don't talk about it. It drives me crazy that so.
And there's been talks of that also, that comes up, of like cryptids, if you consider Bigfoot a cryptid, of activity around like cemeteries or areas where dark stuff like that is happening. Does that come up? UFOs come up with like occult practices and stuff like that? You ever hear
Oh,
much?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they do. And there's a certain it's a certain group with inside of it. And I mean, there's all sorts of things. And then they so much as will do it. They've got the money and the power. People don't realize. Some people realistically don't live in the same reality that we do. I mean,
Right.
especially this is kind of coming from some affluent families that are involved in all of this. But
Yep.
I'm like, it's unbelievable. Then they the blood all over, and then they have a drum circle, and I'm like, so what people sometimes attribute to cattle mutilations are nothing more than an occult practice.
Interesting. And there's also, it's come across my mind also, if some of these groups like that are practicing certain things, because there's the light side of stuff too, people who are out meditating and trying to connect with whatever it may be, Bigfoot or whatever. well, these people are doing it their way, you know, and I always bring up this realm of polarities. You got the yin and yang, dark, light, right? So there's going to be people doing the light work and then the dark work. So yeah, I wonder if it comes up with Bigfoot. I imagine that there's maybe groups out there trying to conjure up or maybe summon
I'm sure.
in a dark way, you know,
I've
maybe
heard on
doing
battlegrounds. I was just talking to somebody about this too, that there's an area like known battleground, like area, and it goes for the blood. The land now needs the
right.
blood is kind of my understanding of some of these areas.
Yeah, and I could see that maybe in certain areas where maybe like a lot of that heavy energy maybe stays. Um, and Kaiju, I see your question, brother. Good to have you. Kaiju's the homie right there. Salute to Kaiju, everybody else in the chat, and Kaiju has you got to get Kaiju on too.
Oh yeah.
I want to get him on for my show, but yeah, he's a Bigfooter and. No, I've never seen Dogman myself. I talked about one time that this girl, I was a friend of mine. We're riding the bus and we're going down. I think it was Fairfax, so headed towards like Fairfax. Remember Fairfax, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're headed down Fairfax, and she claimed she had looked down the street and seen some sort of wolf, like almost like a werewolf type thing, but it was sitting on the sidewalk. And this is what I remember that she mentioned. And I didn't get much more detail, but I clearly remember her saying that. And who knows? And I recently, because I try to avoid her, I recently had to get a hold of her to ask her about that because I really wanted to know more about it. And she was like, you know what? I don't really remember. She's like, I kind of remember something, but I don't know. I was like, darn. All right. So I couldn't get any other information on that. But I thought that was weird. And that was like in the inner city. And I don't know. Who knows? And then, but yeah, as far as California, I've heard some stuff like down at the border, possibly. And I know some of the desert areas, but not too much. Not. I know they're out there, but I haven't done a deep dive and I haven't had any visuals or any experience with it. And I don't know. Some people say that they're not bad. I don't know. I wouldn't want to run into it. I'd rather run into a Bigfoot, even though that's scary as heck too. Instead of a dog man. But yeah. And so where are we going? Let's see. Orbs happening on the property. So I got well versed with the orbs up there up north. And so moving fast forward.
Have you checked ley lines out? Have you checked it? I mean, was there anything on the property that you was
okay? Yes, there was a huge rock. There was this huge rock, and the rock actually has a name, and it's the name of a native family that lived in the area. And I actually got to meet two of the brothers, and one of them passed away. And these dudes, yeah, some serious dudes, and I felt honored that I was accepted up there. And yeah, so the rock's named after them, and it's a huge rock. And from our place, we had a perfect view of that. I mean, it was just I'll send you pictures. It was just a rad property. And so I had a view of the rock, and this orb would always pop up on that rock. And it was like my regular there. And I know I learned about people also talking about there's possible they say I forget, stuff going on with minerals and stuff underground that could cause these things. There's also earthquake lights. People talk about earthquake lights. We get a lot of earthquakes up that way as well, which I don't think it was any of those, just because some of these things would move kind of weird. And yeah, so
was it a traveler? That can also be a human.
Who knows? Yeah, that I wondered. And I would have these stare downs with it, because I would just watch it. And sometimes I would be like, whoa, this is like, I felt like, I don't know if this thing's communicating with me or what, but, and I would have to take breaks sometimes. This would be like 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. Sometimes I'd be alone up on the hill. It's just me. And I would go in the house. I would be like, nope, don't want to get 411 right now, bro. And I would take a break, and then I would go back out eventually. And it was almost like this game and stuff. And I wanted to get closer, but I just knew at that time, natives talked about just like not whistling in the woods at night. I wouldn't do that. And what I learned is don't follow these things because you could
Oh, the
disappear.
orbs?
It could be a spirit, could be,
You know what
so
it came in the amount of like the UFOs is I came out and this was one of the weird times. There was so many of them and there was like this tree area and there was like a couple that like were playful that seemed like kids, but then the one I called the night creeper, right? He's like coming and I looked over and it was really weird, like 5 feet off. No, I would say no, it wouldn't have been 5 feet, maybe like 2.5, 3 feet off the ground. There was a green one and a red one. And
whoa.
those were, and I remember looking around and I said out loud, wow, there's a lot of you. And it echoed like 3 times. And I was like, well, this is weird, right?
What
So I
you
ran up.
said?
Yeah,
What
what
you
I
said
said
echoed.
like 3
Wow.
times. And I was like, well, this is weird. So I ran back inside and I told my friend, I said, will you just keep an eye out the window? I know this is weird UFO stuff, but just make sure I don't go anywhere. Just please, I'm just asking you to look out. And I get out there and I'm watching and it's coming right there. But you know what? I'm like, I had to go because if that thing had gotten any closer, I couldn't get there. Is no way that wasn't a ball of electricity. I would have been ashes. Like,
Yeah.
it's what I felt like. There is no possible way. So that was the only time I really got out and like, I was like, this is that electricity. Because that's what it reminded me of. It looked like it was a ball of electricity when it got
Ye-
close.
Yeah, and I've
So
seen some videos of a ball of lightning also, so I'm familiar with that. And
kind of
I don't
like
think I'd
that.
want to
Yeah.
touch. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to touch that. Get a zapping,
I know.
a real zapping. Because people in the Bigfoot world talked about being zapped. Like, there's a theory that they might put out infrasound and make you sick and feel maybe
Oh, that's the thing in the
paralyzed.
UFO. People have been in isolation chambers, but I don't know. I've never experienced it directly for myself, but yeah.
Interesting. And also while we're on the orbs, because I was gonna fast forward down to now being down in SoCal. So this is like over 10 years of being up north, all these experiences and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of crunching it down into this conversation. So it's not like every day, Bigfoot and the orbs were very common, almost every day, as long as it was visible out. But yeah, the big, like what I thought was Bigfoot activity, it wasn't daily. It was very rare, but I felt like things did happen there. And then I did end up having my first sighting on that property. So really quick, it was summer. It was a summer day, hot, and I was headed to this top part of the property, and it's all dirt roads. We had you needed a code to get into the properties there. It was a gate and everything, so there shouldn't be outsiders around, and it's dangerous to do that up north and everywhere else, I would imagine. But and what happened here? Oh, so I was headed up to the top part of the property. I'm in my truck, and I'm going maybe a few miles an hour, slow, and on both sides of me is woods. And I noticed on my left side, my peripheral vision, it looks like something flanking me, like a humanoid shape. It wasn't huge or massive. It looked like a regular person, and they're running through the trees, and I could see them. And I always describe it like a kid's flip book, those cartoon books that you flip and it's like
Yeah.
flickering a cartoon. That's what it looked like when it was running. And again, I couldn't see it just looked like a person. And then I stopped my truck and I look at this old growth oak tree. And at the base of it again, here we go at the base of the tree again. This figure, this face I see is just staring at me. And it's like it just looks like a black cutout. I couldn't see like any hanging hair or anything like that. But what I could see, it looked like grayish, looked like a mask around the eye area, and everything else was pretty much jet black. And it wasn't like a conical head. It looked like just like a person's head, but it was just all black. The eyes just
Oh,
seemed like
wow.
normal. It wasn't no red color eyes. It just looked like brown, like my colored eyes. And we have this stare down, and I'm by myself. My phone is next to me, all right, and I'm already in the phase where I'm like, dude, you got to get evidence of stuff, and gotta, record and and the camera's right, the phone's right there, and I don't get the phone. All right. So there's no video of this. And all of a sudden I just know that it's not there anymore, and I'm driving up to go do what the heck I'm gonna do. But I'm like, whoa, what did I just see? Like, did I just see what I wasn't scared, but I was super excited and surprised. And one of my first uh people that I talked to was my partner, and I told her, and then our neighbors, which were besties with us, and our neighbor, she was a Mount Shasta girl. She was born in Mount Shasta, so she's all about the Mount Shasta stuff, the Lemurians and little people, everything. So, and she would see the orbs too, so she was my confirmation of
Very
everything that was
cool.
going on there. Yeah. So I told them about it, and her partner at the time was a straight, like, he was a logger from Vermont, and he want nothing to do with Bigfoot or any high strangeness or anything. And I would always poke him about, hey, dude, come on, dude. And he said one time he got spooked in the woods, but he didn't say what it was. I think he might have seen a Bigfoot, but who knows? Yeah, so
You almost have to wonder. Sometimes I think people are afraid, or maybe
yeah,
they're just not ready to talk about it. You
yeah, I
know?
think he just didn't want me, like, maybe asking him more, maybe, like, because he knew I was all about this stuff. But anyway, so you were talking about the ones that or seen a bunch of them at one time. One time in Willow Creek. So we were staying in Willow Creek. This is Humboldt County. Willow Creek. You got the Bigfoot Museum very near the. Well, it's still a little bit of ways, but that's in the area of the Patterson-Gimlin site and the Hooper Reservation and everything. And so everything's Bigfoot there. You got the Bigfoot Motel, Bigfoot Burger, Bigfoot this, Bigfoot Museum, and so super fun town. And I was working there at the time, and so it was weird because sometimes there was these two places we were working at. At one place, you couldn't stay there, and this other place you could stay on the property. And so this other place, people sometimes I would drive home to the coast and then drive back, which was a pretty long drive. But sometimes there was a period of time where I had a pop-up trailer, and I would just take my trailer and I would camp. There's campgrounds around Willow Creek, and very near the river, and which is the Klamath River, and a lot of stories about the Klamath. And yeah, there was one night I'm laying in the pop-up trailer, and I could see outside. My partner's with me, and there was must have been like, it looked like 1,000. It wasn't even stars. It was 1,000, like a bunch of these orbs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was
I
amazing. It
know.
was
It's
the craziest
crazy.
thing. It was the craziest thing. And we couldn't, I couldn't capture it. I couldn't record it because I was looking actually through the screen. There was a screen through the camper, and the camera wasn't recording through that. So, but it was very strange. But anyway, I wanted to also mention, while we're up north still, there's an experience I had recently. So last July I went up to Bluff Creek, and yeah, so this was this last time. And there was a night I got to spend 2 weeks there, which is the longest time I've had ever spent up at Bluff Creek. Usually it's just like a weekend, 3-4 days. And this time I got to spend 2 weeks, so about a week into this trip, and a lot of interesting people came out, well-known investigators, researchers, Bigfooters and stuff. So it was a good time. About a week in, it's about 4 a.m, and we were, hanging out. Had gotten done investigating and stuff. We're wrapping things up, and me and my buddy were the last ones to go to sleep. Jonathan Easley from Western Bigfoot Explorations. And so he went to his side, and I purposely put my camp furthest away from everyone. And so this weird thing, it was about 4 a.m, and the weirdest thing started happening. So I'm in my tent already, and I'm still awake, and I start noticing this weird light outside of my tent, and it seems to be coming from behind my tent. And I'm like, WTF, like, who the hell is that? Like,
Yeah.
everyone else was asleep. Yes. And I'm like, who's this? And the light started getting closer, and it started moving very weird, like, which right away I was like, ooh, orb, and I was like, oh shoot. So, and my phone was about to die. Well, actually it was losing I was losing space. So it was full of data. So I was like deleting videos and pictures and stuff. But I was able to get some recordings of this, and this happened for over an hour. And the light Coley got really intense, and it would dim down, and it would get bright again, and it was the weirdest thing. And along with this light was this foul smell. It smelled like city
Oh,
sewer.
that's interesting.
Yes. And I was like, oh my goodness, here we go. The smell, and I'm just like thinking Bigfoot, is on the mind, of course. And I'm thinking, well, when this light gets bright again, I'm going to see a silhouette or something. And I was just waiting for that moment. And I'm trying to hide the light of my phone as well. So I'm kind of like under the blankets and just chilling. And I'm like, you know what? If something starts pulling my tent, I'm going to start screaming for help.
Right.
And then I'm going to hit the panic button on my truck too, set some alarms off.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was pretty intense. So I got footage of that, and that's in a video. It's featured on the homepage of my channel. So you could check that out. And there was other videos that we were going to share and stuff, but that it didn't happen. I was supposed to email them to Blazer, and it wasn't letting me email the videos. I guess they were too long or something like that. But yeah.
You're welcome to share your screen if you want to, but yeah, that's what he said too. He was having a hard time something with the file.
Yeah, and I'm not a pro at pulling up. I guess not on StreamYard. I'm not going to attempt to do that, but it's all good. Usually, actually, what I did is I sent Blazer my intro. So the intro that I'd been dropping during my live streams is actually a little compilation of like little highlight UFO clips that I got and Bigfoot clips. So you'll see some orbs, this triangular one I got on night vision, could be the TRB3. Some orbs out of Catalina, because Catalina is a well-known UFO spot here. Yeah, I've gone to Catalina, Skywatch the whole way, was checking for stuff, seen some weird stuff, captured an orb, and then got to the island, went to the museum, went to go ask about the giants, and they told me there was nothing about giants, and I was like, whatever. So don't pay $18, folks. It's an hour tour. There's no giant stuff they say there, and which I don't believe. But yeah, Catalina, Channel Islands, super hot spot for UFOs, and just all along the coast of California. We went. I had heard someone mention, they're like, oh yeah, Malibu, I've heard Malibu, and they say that there's a supposed. I'm here stuttering, getting excited. Some sort of alien base off the coast of like Point Magoo. You ever heard of that? That you could see, that you could see on Google, and supposedly Google buffed it out for a bit, but I think you could still see it. But it looks like it has pillars, so it looks like it could be some sort of like a building, some sort of like structure of some sort. But it's interesting that there's a lot of UFO activity around there.
It's got me thinking, you guys have Christos Rapallo. He's the one that taught me how to signal. The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs. I'm trying to think of, I think he's near Santa Barbara area. Or I'll have to look, but he goes out. That would be something that he goes out with a team of scientists out. And I think it's like off of the one, and there's a huge area out there too. So yeah, I guess you're right. I wasn't really, when I lived out there, they weren't on my radar. I was the paranormal, yes, but the UFOs, no, they weren't.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah. And so, a lot of history here with the UFO stuff, definitely, and I know like Preston Dennett's done a lot of work out here. And there's a bunch of other folks, of course. But what was I going to say? So moving down here to Southern California, moving back, my brother and I opened up the shop here. And we're in East Los Angeles, right on the border of Boyle Heights. So the east side of things. And then, it's a interesting area. A lot of stuff happens around here. You get your crime and the homeless situation, and you name it. LA is going through it, definitely. And but whatever, we're here, and it's been pretty cool so far. We've been here about 4 years now. When I got here, a buddy of mine I hadn't seen in years is like, "Oh, dude, you're back," and apparently he's into UFO, like he's totally into UFOs and everything. And he actually did our floors for the shop. He's very artistic, And he's like, "Hey, you want to come hang out at Skywatch?" I was like, "What? Cool, yeah, let's do this." And he took me to a Skywatch, and I believe it's they're called LA UFO Channel, I think it is. And
Oh,
they're a
wow.
group, yeah, a pretty cool group. And yeah, they get together I think it's once a month. And actually, one of the parks they get together at is about 10 minutes from the shop right here, super close by. I was like, "What the heck?" And so after attending, and we did get some action when I was attending those Skywatch. I was like, "Whoa, this is cool!" And so I really enjoyed it, and the vibes. I could totally be myself, and everyone's cool and with it, and things were happening. So I started attending more of them, and I actually got also invited to the Orange County MUFON Skywatch group. And
Okay,
yeah, I
cool.
got to go out with them to a couple places, Black Star Canyon in Orange County. Very a lot of paranormal, a lot of strange stuff, even some cryptid reports out of there. And then we also went to near Joshua Tree to Giant
Oh.
Rock. Yeah, you ever heard of Giant Rock?
No, but I did a Joshua Tree. Somebody was just
Ooh,
not too long ago. They have a
nice.
whole their sighting connected to that.
Oh yeah, yeah, a lot of high strangeness, of course. Joshua Tree. I mean, seems like it's all over Cali. I mean, it's all over the place, right? But for us here, it's like we don't think about it. It's like, oh yeah, there is some places with some high strangeness, and that's where I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, tapping back into SoCal and the high strangeness out here. And so we went out to Giant Rock, and Giant Rock is they say is possibly the biggest freestanding boulder in the world, and it's
Oh my
it's
god.
massive, yeah. And it recently, I think it was recent that it cracked, and there was a whole prophecy behind it. I think it was a Hopi prophecy, and it needed to crack for us to continue living. So it happened, and it's an interesting story. There's also a story of a man, and I believe he was German. And forgive me for not remembering his name. This is one of those stories you got to remember, but he actually lived under the rock, and there's ties to UFOs with this whole rock and stuff.
Huh,
Yeah, there was
that's
this other
fascinating.
couple. Yeah, there was a Air Force. I mean, Air Force, airplane strip that was used to land there. And I guess there was this other couple that would visit the guy that lived under the rock, and this couple, the wife, sold pies to the people landing planes, and there was this whole history behind it. And then I think authorities, the story goes, here we go again, authorities came and I think bombed them out of there. They threw a bomb into the rock, and I believe got rid of them. And so there's someone in the chat's got to know this. And so, yeah, that's an interesting area there. And yes, we did get some action that night. Unfortunately, I didn't have night vision. I got night vision after that trip because I was like, I'm not doing this again without some night vision, because my buddy had some good night vision going, and he was seeing all sorts of stuff. And actually, I was seeing stuff with my eyes, but I couldn't bring that data back to everyone. It was just all a story. Like, we've seen this, we've seen that, and all this was happening. And you could hear the recordings on the phone. I used my phone, but yeah, no, I got my night vision after that. And yeah, I love using it. Um, I was also going to mention, so that giant rock, and I mentioned that story there, also reminds me, again, we're going to rewind and go to JPL, NASA area again here in Pasadena, because the story of JPL, and some will call it Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but some will also call it Jack Parsons Laboratory, right?
Oh.
And yeah, there's the whole Jack Parsons connection, Jack Parsons rockets, the occult, what is it? Sex, drugs, and rockets, or something like that. I think there might be a book out there. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of parties up in Pasadena were at Parsons' place. Actually, his mansion was called the Parsonage, and a lot of occult things happening, and these rockets, and now, and it's interesting how they say Parsons was also possibly they say he blew himself up, but there's another story that they feel someone else did that, and which is interesting with what's happening. We haven't touched on it today, and maybe we shouldn't, but I'm aware of some of the happenings in the UFO field right now, and condolences to family and friends out there, to those. And I also wanted to bring up some of the missing scientists also, and we actually touched on it right? But also really quick. So outside of the shop, before I forget, things started happening out here after those gatherings, those skywatches I was attending. So I would come to the shop and I would look outside and look up, and these things would be there, Coley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So all of a sudden, the shop became like the center of the action. So I would just go outside on my breaks or whatever, look up, and
It's
these
you,
things.
it's not the shop. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but
Once you call them in, oh yeah, you're a beacon. You're definitely
uh-huh.
become a beacon for it. Isn't it crazy? And then you have to explain when other people see it. I'm just like,
Yep.
yeah.
And shout out to the homegirl. So you got to meet Shelly. She goes on YouTube by Shelly's UFOs. So that's funny. Y'all have a similar name there, and she's super rad, super good vibes, and she is just like a magnet. Yeah, she's one of those. So, and I'm sure you're one of them too. I feel it,
In
and
in
I've
the
been.
day, in my day, but then once I felt like it was a graduation period, but there was a time where they were really I've seen hundreds of them.
Yeah.
It was
So
exciting.
so
Yeah.
trip out on this. So that was about, I want to say maybe 2 years, and now it's stopped. It's like it's almost
Mhm.
stopped, and
It
it's not.
does. It
Yeah.
does. 'Cause you can't I think I suspect because this is a thing. It is a thing where everybody goes through when you're in the height of it, that's when it seems like they were doing a lot of work, like, on me where I'd have the strange markings. I haven't since that's all calmed down, a lot of that has calmed down as well. But
Mm.
I really think it's so you can take then whatever you're here for and put it into motion.
Yeah.
'Cause I was
Interesting.
out there every night. I really was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Y-
looking at, doing the whole
yes.
9 yards. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll see a streak of videos on my channel that is just all these little objects that were going around. And I also learned about this. Shout out to uh, Custodian Files on YouTube. So he lives here in Marina Del Rey. Are you familiar with what's the doc's name? Darn. Oh man, downloading the file. Anyway, it'll come to me hopefully. He's known as Custodian Files on YouTube, and he's zeroed in on these particular UAPs or UFOs that tend to zip by pretty much anything that's flying. So it could be an airplane, helicopter,
Sure.
balloons. And we do question some of these balloons out there. There's a super good documentary I've seen, Balloon Cult 1 and 2. I don't think they're all balloons that we're seeing out here. Um, and there's an interesting connection between possibly mylar balloons and Bigfoot structures. If they're really Bigfoot structures, a lot of people were finding mylar balloons near some of these structures. Um, yeah, the doc has really zeroed in on these objects, and they look like, seriously, they look like flies or bugs or something. And so you'll record, let's say, an airplane, and right outside of the shop, we get a lot of LAX traffic, which is perfect. And I will record a video, and you'll scrub through it, and you'll see these little objects darting by, and they're moving fast, and they're sometimes it's more than one. And according to the doc, he feels like maybe they're like they don't stay. Maybe they're like at ground level, and they zip by when something goes up, and they tag you. He calls it tags whatever object it is, so it zips by, possibly collects
Oh.
information, and they drop back down to ground level. And so he's been focusing on his area of Marina del Rey, and anyone could record these things. They're kind of fun when you get into them, and you could get them pretty much all the time. He calls them dragon UFOs, but we've been calling them fast movers. And he says he calls them dragon UFOs because he thought they were dragonflies at first. And
Mm.
yeah, and so he's been focusing. He's in Marina del Rey, right on the coast. He's zeroed in on these jetty rocks that are on the beach there, and they seem to be possibly coming out of that area. It's not fully confirmed, but I do recommend checking out his channel if you're interested in these objects. And yeah, so some of my videos have been featured over there with him. And yeah, it's a weird thing, very weird thing. So keep an eye out for those. And they're very much like the rods. I don't know if anyone remembers those, the rods back in the day. They were like these weird little bug like things that were zipping by videos. I want to say they could be the same thing, but they might be different. So yeah. So again, some of these other objects popping up around the shop were orbs. Some were very balloon-like. Some of them were balloons. You get a lot of balloons around here. But what was interesting also down the way from the shop was a place where they built drones also. So I was like,
That gets interesting too.
yeah. Yep. So something to question there. But yeah, interesting times here, and I'm still totally down to go out sky watching. And when I'm out bigfooting and nothing's really happening, I switch to Skywatch.
I didn't know you were into all that. I was looking, if I have my camera on it, I'll freeze up. But I was looking because when you said that area in Delray, I was like, I thought that's where Christos Rapal. He's right on the coast. I was seeing that
Okay.
because I'd like try and make connections. I'm like, if someone's in that, because some of it it does get very strange. But so that's what I'm doing. So, but yeah, continue. I'm still listening.
Yeah, no, and there was stuff. I was like I mentioned that possible TRB3. I don't think they
Mhm.
were birds or anything. And yes, we do get some, I guess, geese or something. They sound like geese, and usually you hear them when they go by. But this time, these objects, they were in a triangle formation, and sometimes I guess these birds could make that formation as well. But it was night, and sometimes the geese go by at night. But they were moving at a fast clip, and it was just it was a good one, and got that on the Aurora. What is it? The Aurora Black night vision. Who puts that out? Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
Psionics. Sorry, the Psionics night vision cameras.
Oh, I
But
got you.
mhm. So I got it on that, and yeah, I thought that was really weird, and it's not the first time. And I seen this possible same object and captured it with the night vision as well. But these other captures weren't as clear as this particular one. The other objects, it almost seems like they were like breaking up. So, like you mentioned, so it looks like maybe 4 or 5 orbs in the shape of a triangle. So I don't know if it's just separate orbs or is that a whole craft and
Where you
maybe.
see yeah, like where I've seen that too, like, but they were purple
Mhm.
or blue, I can't remember, but it was almost like 3 orbs were stuck together. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I often wonder too. Are they the heart of it? Are they, cloaking when for our benefit, so we'll really I don't know. That's where I think they all kind of merge together in a way.
Yeah, and I mentioned the documentary Balloon Cult, which I recommend because if you're into like these strange objects, it gets into like a certain uh, and it's almost they explain it slightly different than the typical UFO UAP sightings and stuff. They're saying like it's almost like a deeper kind of like we went on the orb situation, how it follows you. There's more to it, and that it could show up in the form of even a balloon, and so I thought that was very weird. And there was like, yeah, these times where a couple balloons even landed like right near me, and I'm just like, dude, what the heck? Like, what are the chances? And
How
yeah,
big
it
are
was just
they? Like
just
how
like normal balloons, normal size balloons. Yeah, like but it was weird how they would, just would pop up in certain times. And like I said, I do believe some of them were actual balloons, maybe a birthday or a holiday or some sort of celebration. There's a lot of cemeteries around here, so balloons, I'm sure, maybe come from there also. But yeah, no, I think there's definitely some weird stuff happening. And like I
are
said,
they
it's calmed
what
down.
color are they? Are they like the cellophane?
Different colored balloons, reds.
I've seen red ones.
Yeah, I didn't notice any one color more than another, but yeah, with the Bigfoot thing, some people claim that blue is a big color with them, which I don't know,
Mm.
because a lot of the mylar balloons that were being found around these structures were blue. And so that's how when I first started hearing about the blue thing, and this was years back, you hear a lot more people talk about it now. And so I don't know, could be, or maybe they just like shiny stuff, like mylar, that reflective material. Maybe find that interesting.
I
Makes
always
me
think of
wonder.
like maybe it's, I know that the army was working on what do you call it? It's invisible. Like people like that kind of
Oh yeah.
reflection. Maybe it's like more of a mechanism to operate safely or covertly, I guess.
Could be. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
That's
was going to mention
unbelievable.
also I know there's more stuff here and uh what was I going to mention? Oh, yeah, there's this case. So we were talking about that base off of Point Magoo and the activity around the coast. There's this trippy case, and you could look it up. I had brought it up recently just because I was always tripped out by it, of this guy who lived in the Palisades, which is the other area, because there was two huge fires. What was it last year? I think it was, right? Out here, it was the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. And the Eaton fire again was near that Pasadena area we were mentioning earlier with NASA, JPL, and all that. Now, the Palisades fire is more on the coast, right? That's on the coast. And there was a case a few years back where this guy claimed to be an alien hybrid. All right. And they found him deceased in his vehicle about a block or two from his residence. And in his residence, they found like the craziest amount. I think it was over like 1,000 firearms and like tons of ammunition, a bunch of cash. This dude had no like record of ever working anywhere, like no
Oh, wow.
background. Yes, and his wife also spoke on it too. I believe she talks on the news. But yeah, he said that he was a hybrid of some sort, and that he needed. I forgot there was a whole story behind it. Like he needed to get away or escape. He had something going on, but he ended up deceased. And it was 2 weeks. He was in there for 2 weeks in his vehicle before they, I guess, found him. And yes. And did you ever hear about that?
No,
Yeah, I
no.
thought that was
There's some
interesting.
strange there is some strange occurrences and there's some strange people in the community. Like sometimes, I don't know. How Monterey Bay is that close to that area or no?
That's further north, a couple hours maybe north, but I mean, it's not far as the UFO flies, you know.
Oh yeah, no, that's where my buddy was, that the documentary where he was getting a ton of stuff. So I was
Oh,
just
okay,
kind of
Monterey.
seeing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, nice. I could see that. Also, I did want to mention, so we're mentioning the fire. What I thought was pretty weird too, because my brain just kind of goes sometimes. Did you ever hear about the Paradise fire in Paradise, California? There was a huge fire up there. And in Paradise, I guess it's not too far from, I guess, maybe a few hours from Mount Shasta. But there's stuff online where people were, and online, you gotta be careful. But people were mentioning that there's supposedly a community of ETs that lived in Paradise, and that's why the fire happened there was to,
Mm.
yeah, which I thought was interesting. And it was interesting that, yeah, this dude that claimed to be a hybrid down here, eventually that area burned there, and there's that supposed base that's not too far. And I don't know, just my mind, just keeping
Connecting the
certain bits of,
dots.
well,
Yeah.
not fully connecting dots, but if there's some dots to be connected, maybe we could put them together. But it's just something to keep in mind. Some of this information, it just stays in my head, and so in case anything else happens, maybe that information could help you maybe answer some stuff, or
What
maybe you
about
could
the
share.
Scientologists? Like, you look at people like Dr. Hale
Um,
Puthoff, I mean, connected to the remote viewing, deeply rooted in all of this stuff. What's your take on some of the e-meter that they have? Do you
Thank
ever?
you. Thank you for bringing that up, because that was the other thing. I was like, hold on, there's something else. And I was going to mention, yeah, California is full of UFO and alien cults. There's a lot of them
Oh
out here.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yes. And that one that you named there, that particular group is like top, right? Interesting thing about them, so I've been getting into the old world topic. Have you heard of most people call it Tartaria? I like to call it
Mhm.
old world. um and getting into the old buildings, and that possibly some of these buildings have been here from a previous reset, and we're just repurposing them, and that they had a lot more purpose than just them being maybe government buildings or some post office. It gets pretty deep, and it's very interesting. And I do believe UFOs come up with this topic as well, which is interesting, even the cryptid. So that's why I feel like, okay, I'm not fully connecting things, but it's, keep these topics, in mind, because let's see, I noticed a lot of the buildings, or not most of them, that they have here, because Scientology is huge here in Hollywood.
Oh,
They have a bunch of facilities here, so they all seem to be old world buildings. I noticed. I was like, what the heck? They got a thing for old world buildings.
the
And
size of the Church of Scientology was like a size of a block. It was like a palace. I couldn't believe.
you're talking about the Big Blue on Sunset?
We used to, okay, so at Enterprise, we used to go and pay whatever the main church is. If you go down, like trying to think of where, it wasn't too far off of Hollywood, like for
Yeah,
us to have it in our territory. But it was like the size of I mean, it was huge. It was
yeah.
huge. It was just the fountains, like it was
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yes, and I believe that's they call it Big Blue because it's a big blue Art Deco style building.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
yeah, and then people have talked about, I heard someone mention, and I believe, because there's some ex members that are now like totally going, like, I don't know if you know, but it's been pretty active with members fighting them, and it was weird because I was doing a live stream at the Big Blue on Sunset, and I seen another person, a lady, also live streaming, and she comes, and I walk over to her, and she's like, "Hey, honey," or something like that. She's like, "Are you here for so and so also?" And I'm like, "No, not really. I'm actually checking out the building and how it's tied to whatever."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, well, and she introduced herself. She's a YouTuber, so check her out if you're into this. She goes by Laura FM. She's right. I think you'll like her, Coley. You like,
Oh
y'all have
yeah,
like a
go
similar
check it
energy."
out.
Yeah, and
That's
she's like, right
awesome.
on. She was streaming, and we shot it out each other's channels and everything, and so it was a cool thing. And yeah, so some of their other buildings are also old worlders, not all of them, but check them out. And someone was mentioning actually that Big Blue building. They have a facility next to that, and they were saying that that facility actually connects to the Big Blue building underground.
I believe that.
So, hmm,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I mean, all this stuff. I'm glad they don't have the power that they once did, because they were at one time were unstoppable. I mean, people went hidden, and their families couldn't find them, and I mean,
yeah. Well, trip on.
they.
Yep, trip on this. You want to tie something back to let's go back up north. So the leader, what is the Miscavige, David Miscavige, and his wife, who's supposedly been missing for years and stuff like that. Well, there's rumors because Scientology has a facility. They have property in Humboldt County in southern
Because
and
people don't
this
realize Scientology's across the country. Yeah.
yeah, it's all over.
This
But they
is
have this, it's supposedly a bunker that they have up there on this property. And someone flew a drone over there, and we were able to get a sneak peek. And that video might be still around. I don't know. But yeah, they say that there's and I heard word of mouth that there's some sort of plaque under there. That's when I was staying up that way. They're like, yeah, there's some sort of plaque under that place or something. And I don't know. But
wasn't it
and then
Hubbard whose wife went missing?
I don't know, maybe her too, but I know Hubbard took off with Parsons' wife. Yep. Dipped out with her. Yeah.
They're all in on it. Yeah,
Uh,
it's like a club we're not a part
I'm
of.
telling you. And what was I going to say? So, and they say that the wife that supposedly has been missing has been staying up in Humboldt County. Who knows if that's true? I don't know. Is this all stuff that I've heard? And you could probably find online as well. But I thought that was interesting, a Humboldt County connection there with that.
Isn't that interesting? Small world, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah. And I'm sure we could keep. I mean, I love this, and thank you again for inviting me on.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I've been
I'm looking
wanting to
forward to
do
it.
this with you. I dropped some messages. I was like, Coley, I'd love to, and you're more than welcome to come on my show. I've been trying to get guests to come on and share, do this, and
Yeah, that'd be fun, definitely.
And
I didn't see it if you did, but now you have my contact information. So
perfect. Yep.
definitely.
And yeah, and you know, the vibe is good here. I feel very comfortable, and I think it's been a good run tonight. And yes, you have any other questions? I mean, is there anything else?
Time just flew. I've been listening. I'm like, I just have to say, I just love your work and your show and the reports that you put out. You captivate. Like I'm serious. Like I can hear you now. It's great. So I do appreciate all the work and stuff that you're doing over on your channel.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I'm, you know, grinding, plugging away, and I see you're doing great, Coley, and you know, beautiful. I feel the energy, and you're doing great work, great guests as well, some heavy hitters. I was gonna mention too, like I don't consider myself a researcher. I'm like a bedroom investigator. You know, sometimes I've been presented as like, oh yeah, a Bigfoot researcher and all this stuff, but I'm you know, I'm not like a scientific or I don't got credentials or anything like that, right? So I don't really consider myself that, but I like, you know, I love to go out and Bigfoot and investigate, geek out with gadgets and stuff like that, and then the same thing with the UFO stuff. And I also wanted to mention, I see we're getting close to we could let's hit the 2 hour mark if you don't mind, Coley.
Sure.
Yeah, let's make the 2 hours happen. So, yeah, if there's any, you know, any questions in the audience, anyone want to bring anything up, but yeah, this has been super cool. I'm excited. Finally, we did it. I had one customer come by, and I had to be like, "No, bro." He was way past. We closed at 7 here, so he was way past, and it's not the first time he does that, so he knows. But I'm so glad that things just worked out. And last minute before you went live, I think it was you were dropping your intro, and thank goodness for your intro, because I was able to go take care of a customer. It was a slow day here at the shop, and I was like, darn, we didn't really rake in anything. But last minute, while the intro's dropping, I'm like, darn, there's a show going on here, folks. And they came in, did some shopping,
As
and
always.
they bumped us to our daily quota. So that was amazing. So thank you, Lord.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys have a shop. That's awesome. You're doing it for yourself, and you're like skater. You said you got what kind of stuff do you have?
So yeah, we're we could build you a skateboard, and if anyone needs a skateboard out there. And yeah, skating, you know, skating's big in LA, so it's a cool thing to have that. And so we also have art supplies. So, you know, graffiti is a big thing in LA, but it's grown to the level of, and the murals have always been around. You know, our shop's covered in murals, amazing murals, and we
Oh,
know
that's
some
cool.
amazing muralists, artists, and stuff. And so paint is a big thing here in LA. So paint sells. We have your quality paint. It's funny, some of the paint companies are now targeting the muralists and stuff. And actually, my shirt, we have this is an old design that was outside of the shop, but it got ruined by gang graffiti that happens here too. But they've been respecting the latest one, so thank goodness for that. But I'll show you right quick.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like two native women, and they got these helmets, but there's these DMT toads under them. So it's like this, and oh man, I gotta remember the artist. I forget, but I've shouted them out. But yeah, we still have this print. But yeah, this was outside of the shop, and it got ruined. And now we got our other buddy who did another amazing mural. This one you'll like, Coley, because it's a female, and it looks like something out of maybe Fifth Element or something. Yeah, and he threw in some, because our buddy who actually, a couple of our buddies who are artists are both experiencers and deep into the UFO stuff too. So it's amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah, and he drew a couple of UFOs on there and some floating islands and stuff, and I'll send you a picture of it. And yeah, no, it's super cool to have artists like that are experiencers and
Heck
stuff like
yeah.
that. A lot of the Bigfooters I know are actually musicians as well. I'm big into music myself. Do you play any instruments or anything like
I
that?
don't. I love music. I don't very well, but I write it. I just don't sing it.
Yeah, well, I could tell by your intro, and I loved your other intro. Hopefully, you still play that one, but that one, it really stuck in my head. So anytime a song really sticks in my head,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Which one was
it,
that?
it was which one was it? I know Diane Boss out in the chat loves it.
Oh,
There was one
yes.
night, yeah, we were
Yeah.
waiting. I think we had a delay on your stream, and I don't know what it was. She was, yeah, wanting to hear the intro drop, and she was pardoning up in the chat,
I
and then
know.
finally the show started, and boom, the intro dropped, and let me tell you, it was a party up in the chat.
Yeah, no, I have to go through. I'm actually looking for it. I'm like, I thought I hit it a couple times, but I collect so much, and when I shouldn't try and change it up, but I do sometimes, and then I get
it's
lost. I'm like,
it's
I
it's good.
gotta get my back because it throws me off
Yep.
too, and I'm like, just you wouldn't believe how much that right there would throw me off, but it definitely
I'm
does.
I'm a hot mess with my stuff
I
too. It's
know.
all over my channel, my videos, pictures, and I'm trying my best to like clean stuff up
I
and
know. No. I'm like, if you
and
can
my
see it, it looks like I mean, I need to do some spring cleaning in there for sure.
yeah. And yeah, like your intros, I enjoy them and really cool put together. And I've been having a little trouble with my intro actually because I thought I went to a site that was for like copyright free and what was it? Basically so you don't get copyright strikes and stuff, right? And I've been using it so but I still get the strike. And even though if I put because it mentioned to put the creator in the description and everything, of course, right? And so I
Right.
do that, and I still get the notification, and then it says it doesn't impact your channel, but the creator possibly may be getting whatever, if there's any like I guess donations or if the video could be monetized or whatever, and so just trying to get through that little curve there and
And
get
it's
myself.
from the actual like from your graphics that's
No, it's
picking
not.
it up?
It's from I layered a track over the intro that I had made and
Mm.
thinking that, okay, this should be, safe to use or whatever. But I don't know. I'm
You
just
know
gonna
what
have to
I
get.
was getting a hit on, and it was I'd stopped. It was just like a real quick, like I did like an intro, but it was so I had time to get because the music I do it separate. It's not connected in the same video. And
Oh,
here it was just that sound, like darn, it was like real simple, and I didn't
yep,
realize. And here that's what was
yep,
hitting on
dinged.
copyright, and I was like,
Yeah,
"What is this?"
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't
So,
believe it.
yep. And also so I mentioned last year I went to Bluff Creek, stayed for 2 weeks, and I dropped like it was about an hour long a video that shows that camp situation. I mean the tent situation, and so I still have some a video to work with from that trip, and I just I don't know. I've been all over the place once again, like oh man, I put the video together, a second part from that trip. So there's a part two coming up, folks, and I started layering some of the vocals to it. And this is stuff that I'm learning. It's like the second one that I've done doing this longer format and just learning the ropes using iMovie, just
I
barely
like
learning stuff.
iMovie.
Uh,
Miss it.
and
You can put together it helps you to put together trailers. I feel like I have not since I
yeah,
really like that.
yeah. So I'm, again, experimenting more with stuff and I want to try more things. And what was I going to say? So the first video from this last trip that I uploaded, when I uploaded it, I did it ahead of time, put my description, my title, whatever thumbnail, I had it ready. It was like ready a day or so ahead of time. But when it uploaded, I don't know, I think maybe because I premiered it or something, it uploaded at a super low quality. Another reason why, I don't know, I'm thinking possibly is because maybe I used different cameras and maybe that affected something. And Study Sasquatch Salute said you had better be selling Sasquatch stuff. Nathan Braun salute to him there, man. They're doing amazing stuff and definitely a channel to check out. And I would love to another guest, Coley. I don't know if he does interviews or talks on people's channels like this, but I would love to talk to him as well. But
Oh, Nathan?
Yes, yeah. They're doing awesome Bigfoot work, so I definitely check out that channel. And I love to share channels, especially the smaller channels that are doing stuff, there's a lot of them out there.
Yes.
And so I do share their, in my post section, I do share a lot of channels out and just other random, maybe news and different things. But I do like to share other people's work and they're different levels. Some of them are doing amazing stuff, like STM. Luckily, actually, the year, what was it? The year before last, it was weird. Last year, so what was it? There was one year that I went to Bluff Creek twice, and it's weird. All these years kind of start to blend in. um, and I went twice. I went in July, and then I went in October that year. So I got to go twice that year. And the first trip in July, actually, again, my buddy Jonathan from Western Bigfoot Exploration brought out his buddy Alex Pedikov from Small Town Monsters, and Alex Pedikov was there to do his thing for STM, and so I got featured in that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, in one of the documentaries, and which is the Return to Bluff Creek. So you could check that out on Small Town Monsters, and then but he also did a second documentary, which is the Bigfoot Highway, and I recommend both of them. They're both great pieces of work there. And that one, we were just more behind the scenes. Other friends of ours were featured more in that documentary, and we did an overnight hike into a very special area. And not much happened. We got this weird phantom food smell. It's weird. We hiked to a certain point and camped overnight. And on our way back from this hike, we're in the middle in the wilderness there, Bigfoot country, and we start smelling like the guys were saying it smells like fried chicken, and there was no one camping around there. It was the weirdest thing. So I called
Oh,
it
isn't that interesting?
phantom.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just really the munchies were really kicking in or something. I don't know, but I called it the phantom food smell. But yeah, there was some other stuff that happened also with Alex, and I tried sharing it with them to see if maybe they'd put it in the doc, but it didn't make it. And it's this so we were investigating a particular area that night, Laird Meadow, a lot of history there. And what happened 3 in the morning or so, we started hearing some things. The guys were really hearing some stuff. Unfortunately, the stuff didn't get really recorded. We had audio recorders and everything, but I guess it was too far and faint. But we were hearing it from a particular area of where we thought it was Onion Mountain. So for people that know the area, and so it's 3 in the morning. Some of the other guys are wrapping stuff up. They're gonna, hit the sack. Not that sack, but go to bed. And then so we decided to go towards the where we heard the vocalizations. What was interesting, we had heard vocalizations in that same direction, Jonathan and I, the previous year, I think it was, or a year or two.
Oh,
So
wow.
so yeah, we start heading towards these vocals, and I'm in the back. Alex and Jonathan's driving. Alex is riding shotgun, and I'm in the back seat, and I'm recording because something inside me told me to record just in case something happens to run out, even wildlife, maybe a bear or something happens to run out. And when I reviewed that video, I got back from the trip and everything, and going through my videos looking for anomalies or anything, any timestamps. Uh, I'm noticing this weird, like it's like a smoky, uh, dark figure, humanoid shape in a way, and it's coming from like way back behind some trees, and it cuts across the front of the car and goes beside like the driver's side. And I was like, what the heck? And I sent it to the guys, and they're like, nah, bro, it looks like just shadow from the car's lighting, which I was like, okay, I could see that, But no, I sent it to a few other people, Gerald being one of them. Gerald, shout out Gerald, Midwest Night Watchers, Jane Fountain, the Fountains, Jane and
Yeah,
Gerald
aren't they
Fountain.
great?
Yes,
What do
love
you
them.
how did you pronounce his name? Is this why she
Gerald. Yeah, so I used to call him
Gerald?
Gerald.
Gerald.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Big G.
so it's
So I
Gerald.
believe it's Gerald with the g, g,
No, I've heard him
so
say that everybody, or no, I've heard Jane say that everybody mispronounces his name, and I thought, really?
yeah,
Here I'm probably the
and
one
don't
that's
feel
doing it. Oh
don't
my
feel bad
god.
because it took me a while too. Because yeah, it seems like Gerald, right? We're used to
It's
Gerald.
okay.
Gerald, yeah. Shout out Gerald. Much love to them, and they're my like adopted parents.
Oh, aren't they
They've
wonderful? They
taken
really
me in.
are.
Yes, I could go couch surf at their place, or
Oh,
or,
they're
or
wonderful.
sleep with the goats.
They're only
Um.
about an hour from me right
Oh
now.
wow, cool. And you know who else I think it is near you who you should know? Do you know Jeremiah Byron from Bigfoot Society?
I
I
kn
believe.
Is he from this area? I did not
Yep.
know that.
Well, I don't know if your particular area, but I believe you both are from the same state.
Iowa?
Yep. Yeah. So check
Oh,
him out. Talk to him. Yeah,
yeah, I'll have to
he's
see where
cool.
I didn't know that he was in this area.
Cool guy, and he's doing amazing stuff with the reports. I mean, he's the one who actually was involved with the Ohio flap that had happened. He had read off a report off the Bigfoot mapping project. Like he's been doing it longer than I have, but like I've been doing it lately, and he started because he's so plugged in on different platforms. You know, he's got his website and everything. He's got an interactive map as well, daily shows. Um, and he started getting reports in from when he read that first initial report, and that's what started that Ohio rash or flap.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, had
Wow.
another homie pull up. He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "All right, it's all good." He understood. But yeah, that's how that started there. You know, so it's I think it's cool that we're reading some of these reports, and again, they're not probably not all true. Some of them we've read are obviously bogus, and we have a little laugh, like Bigfoot twerking in Florida. Was
I
a good
know.
one.
Some of them I
I
know.
could
So
see
I'm like,
that in
"Oh,
Florida,
God."
right?
Yeah.
That Miami
Oh,
bass.
and then now Miami fair game, it's just crazy because you're seeing more and more. I'm like, we have cardboard cutouts at the local grocery store of Bigfoot
Right
now. And
on.
I never thought I would see that in Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah, we here in Southern California. We recently had the town of Running Springs, which is near like Big Bear and all that stuff. They had a Bigfoot festival, and which was like the first really like big Bigfoot festival for SoCal, I believe. And then also they have this other one called 626 Golden Streets. I'm gonna pull a magnet off right here really quick, and
Oh,
and it's
cool.
another event, yeah, here in the San Gabriel Valley. 626. There we go. And we were supposed to actually have a little booth. We've been sleeping on it, maybe next year. But and their mascot is Sasquatches, and it's here in the San Gabriel Valley, and it's like a community thing. People ride bikes and network. Have little booths, food and fun, music,
Oh,
and all
that
that
would be
stuff. So
fun. Yeah.
yeah. So what a change for Southern California, and Bigfoot. So
I'm impressed. I can't believe you guys have come a long way.
yes, all the way from Northern California.
It's good. Yeah, but it's SoCal they can digest it out there. They can probably digest it anywhere.
Finchster, brother Finch in the
Oh,
house.
Jason Finch, yeah, he's
Yes.
great. He is great. There's certain people, and you're very positive yourself. Like people have the wonderful, wonderful things to say like about you, and that's really telling. Like, so I appreciate all you do in the community, and just the camaraderie that you bring with you. It's
I
very
I
cool.
I appreciate that. And and at the same time I know I could come off maybe like I don't know, maybe negative sometimes too, because I'm learning to question things. Like I want to question things, and I know in certain circles, if you bring up certain questions, it's like it's taboo, and it's like you don't mean it to be like that. You just want to get certain answers, and
Oh, I don't take it like that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I think question everything. It's not
of
being
course,
negative.
right?
It's getting
Yeah,
to the bottom. It's being a good, you know, researcher. It really is. You have
yeah,
to.
and I feel like if you're spitting facts and the truth, there's no need to lie, and everything will roll smoothly, right? And if you're not, then that's when trouble starts happening, and other questions start popping up, and red flags, and this and that, and then there we go. So And so I
And
get
who
why.
wants to it's like I always think, God, there's so much going on in my head. I can't even remember half of it, but yeah, and I don't think that other people can too. Either that or they forget that maybe they've been on your show, like going back a couple years prior, and all of a sudden, they've gone from this to being the ambassadors of. It blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
The deception. People, your stories are good enough. Like the facts are great because that it's hard to sift through this as it is
Yes.
with
Yeah. And we
all,
gotta.
all the confusion.
Yes, and it's important to filter stuff too. Everything we're consuming, either visually or even like everything down to food, but the content we're consuming, we got to be able to detox from that stuff too. There's a lot of toxic content out there, and yeah, so I think it's important to do that. And I know mental health is a big issue also everywhere. We talked about the homeless, the crazy stuff. I've been streaming the high speed chases and stuff here in LA when they go live.
Oh God, yeah.
So
Those
heads
are
up for
those.
that, folks. Yeah, we do tap into that. It's just a part of the culture out here.
It is too. If you don't have
Uh,
a helicopter coming down your neighborhood at one point or another, you'd feel a little left out.
right. And then again, what did I want to also before we head on out? Yeah, just learning to question things and yeah, trying to get to what I feel is my truth. Everyone has maybe a different truth and a different journey, and just learning to respect that and respect people. Yeah, I wanted to say it comes down in the Bigfoot world, also with anything. It comes down to a people thing. It's a people are the problem, right? It's not Bigfoot is the problem, or maybe some of the aliens, but a lot of it's people issues, egos and different things. And so
Oh yes. Oh
I'm
yes.
doing my own work as well. I'm battling my own demons and ego and all that as well. So I do the best to be a better person, and I've learned from my experiences. I've done a lot of mistakes, and yeah, I pray that I learn from that, and just carry myself uh better than yesterday.
Right. That's all you can do is, you do the best you can with the tools you got today. And I mean, tomorrow's a new day and you're constantly growing. If you didn't make a mistake, I'd wonder if you were human or not. But, it's just, it's all a part of this crazy experience, I guess. But
Yep.
yeah, no, that's awesome. Again, I would love to, look forward to doing, working more with you and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, so YouTube is the main spot. From there you could find links to other platforms. Um yeah, so YouTube it's Brown, or no, there I go, going old school, Brown Dwarf. I used to be Brown Dwarf. Bigfoot, I switched to Bigfoot Dwarf, and I used to use Brown Dwarf as like the celestial object, a brown dwarf, and also the little being. But yeah, no, I switched it to Bigfoot Dwarf because the algorithm, like when people search for me now, it pops up right away as to like Brown Dwarf. You get a bunch of brown space stuff and other you know little people maybe. But yeah, Bigfoot Dwarf helps a whole lot with searching for my name. So Bigfoot Dwarf, I believe it is, and it should pop up, or at Bigfoot Dwarf 42000 is the handle, I believe. So yeah, tap in. I appreciate it, Coley. Much love to you and everyone out there.
Yes, it's been
Blazer, thank
fun.
you, brother, for helping behind the scenes and stuff. He's been doing a whole lot. And
Now you
prayers
know what
to
Blazer looks like.
yes, I got a face reveal. I feel
Oh,
honored.
man.
And so yeah, anytime Coley, reach out to me. Pew me a text. I was gonna say, pew me a text with any information. UFO related, any videos, anything happening. I'm definitely I'm not all just Bigfoot. I'm pretty open to a lot of other stuff.
That's awesome. I always say that
Yeah.
too. I was like, yeah, the UFO, and I understand that it kind of goes with the little nickname, but kind of gets overshadowed. But it's not that I don't, because I love all sorts of high strangeness. So not that I know that. And in closing, too, what would you like to leave the audience with until the next time?
Yeah. So I would like to leave them with, just follow your heart, uh, learn to forgive others and yourself, and keep looking forward, no backtracking. We're moving forward here, step by step, one step at a time. Sometimes we have to take baby steps, and hey, that works as well. Sometimes we have a Bigfoot stride and we're moving in fast paces, but just keep moving forward. And my thing is, love, I feel like I love all people till you cross the line. Then we got other feelings, but I have love for everybody, this planet. I'm just excited to be here experiencing this wild ride of life, and glad to share some time and energy with you all. So come tap in over on the channel if you'd like to hang out a little more, get to know me. And I'm always open to getting to know others. And Coley, let's make this happen again.
Definitely. So if you have not gotten over to Bigfoot Dwarf's channel, definitely do so. He's got some great lives. I saw that you've had some great interviews with this. So tons of stuff. The Bigfoot Report, Skywatching. Definitely get over there and subscribe. Yes, and I'll be in touch and we'll do something again. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate your time, and I know that you had an open shop and still juggled. So I really do. That means a lot.
Made it happen.
Yes, thank you. And we'll be seeing you soon. And everybody, I just wanted to thank everybody in chat. That was so much fun. Just fun and exciting show. It's always good that your fellow creators like to get out and, get to know them better, so I was definitely looking forward to tonight's show, and it went very well. So definitely be doing more of that. And I want to thank everybody for the super chat. Shelly, we're trying something different, so I really do appreciate the support. And Benno from I got one for you too, Benno. Don't you be worrying about it. I'm gonna find a smoother way of doing this so it's not so awkward. But let's see. And Shelly, we got another for you also. Let's see here. And Benno, you get another one too. So I just want to tell everybody this is really to thank each and every one of you. Appreciate it. So on that note, again, I just want to thank each and every one of you. It is greatly appreciated. We never take for granted. And we will be back. There'll be a show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Friday, I believe there will be a gate panel with Doc Skinner and I. And then Sunday, Phil and his buddy will be back. So yes, definitely I'll get that schedule out there. And Bigfoot Dwarf said, be good to one another, support one another. Sometimes a lot of times this message can't get out there. Our channels are not necessarily going to be at the forefront of everything. So that support that you give to one another is very important. So on that note, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO, and I will be seeing you again shortly.
He's the alien, UFOs in the night we're flying. Paranormal tales in the air, cryptid sounds, ain't no time to spare. Sasquatch lurking in the dark. Take mysteries, always leave 'em all.